Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to, well, if you're watching this on Monday, it's Mingles with Jingles. If you're here as it's being recorded live, it's the December Salt Mine Discord Q&A. Thank you to everybody who turned up in person and posted their questions. Thank you to the mods for ensuring that I basically just have to turn up and don't do anything other than answer questions. Speaking of which, I'm heading over to the questions channel right now. We're going to get this show on... Ooh, pictures of cats, so this is going to be good. We're going to get this show on the road right after this extremely quick message with bonus cat content from this week's video sponsor, Incogni. I'm sure we're all aware that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of data broker firms out there with expensive and extensive personal information databases holding your details which they trade on a daily basis. Information which, if it were to fall in the wrong hands, could, for example, be used by criminals to open credit accounts in your name, or file tax returns in your name, or commit crimes in your name. The kind of activities which could take months or possibly even years to repair the financial and reputational damage. Now, Incogni has always gone after these big data brokers on your behalf, and you can get yourself 60% off an exclusive Incogni plan by heading over to incogni.com/jingles and using code JINGLES at checkout. But what Incogni are now offering, under their unlimited and family unlimited plans, is a personal data removal service. If you happen to know, for example, of a people search website, just as one example, or any particular website that has your personal information, and you'd rather they didn't, simply copy the URL into Incogni, and one of their data protection agents will take care of everything else for you. New feature available under the unlimited and family unlimited plans. And again, 60% exclusive discount by heading over to incogni.com/jingles and using code JINGLES at checkout, and take your personal information off the market. Nino, what are you doing? Nino, I'm trying to record an ad. Personal information. Never worked with children or animals. Hello, Nino. And going after these data brokers on your behalf has always been Incogni's bread and butter. But did you know? So, cheers to Incogni for ensuring that I can continue to feed the cats. And I'm going to crack straight on with this month's questions. The first one comes from Minortree93. He says, Dear Overlord Jingles, during my question for episode 600, I asked for cat pictures and you failed to show them during the video. Oh, I'm in the shit now, aren't I? For your punishment, the mods will randomly enter into your home sometime within the next month, tie you down to a chair and force you to watch them microwave your tea for a week straight. God. Who does that? Also, I don't drink tea. That makes it worse, I suppose. Anyway, for your question this week, with Christmas time... Oh, sorry, I know who does that. Americans. Americans microwave their hot beverages because... And the reason is simple. The voltage of their electrical appliances is half the voltage that we have here in the UK, so our kettles boil water twice as fast as theirs do. So they tend to just stick a cup in the microwave, and that's why they do it. It's sacrilege, but I understand why they do it. But anyway, the question this week, with Christmas time right around the corner, what was your favourite present you ever got? And what was a gift that you never got but wished you did? Oh, that's a good one. Favourite present I ever got? Oh, shit, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of old, all right? The last time I would regularly get Christmas presents was probably like when I was 16 or 17 years old. I mean, after that, I was in the Navy and usually away from home for Christmas. Shit. Honestly, I have no idea. A gift that I never got but wished I did. That would probably be the Millennium Falcon. And again, we're going back to when I was like a very, very young kid, like 11, 12 years old. Kenner, the toy company, who were basically almost bankrupt until they got the license to start making the Star Wars figures from George Lucas. They did a Millennium Falcon playset, and I never got it. And I always wanted that. I was so jealous. Two of my cousins had it. I never got it. I mean, you know, mother, a single mother. I'm amazed she actually could afford to buy birthday presents, Christmas presents for me at all. Oh, speaking of which, no, that's right. Yeah, the best one I ever got, I've just remembered. An Atari VCS 2600. The old wooden, seriously, wooden games console where you could play Pong. Again, mother, single mother, working 2 jobs to support 2 kids. No idea how the hell she managed to be able to afford this, but one of the very first video game home consoles we got one Christmas. I think we only ever had 2 games for it. I must have been like 8 or... No, in fact, I would have been younger than 8. 6 or 7 years old. And this turned up for Christmas one year. No idea how she could afford that. But that was probably the best Christmas present I ever had. And the one that I always wanted and wished I could get, but which never happened, was the Millennium Falcon playset for the Star Wars toys when I was a kid. And yes, I realise I'm going to have to show more cat pictures. Hopefully I'll remember this time. Next question comes from Tannhauser Gate. Blade Runner reference there, obviously. Dear Mighty Overlord, hope all is going well. First time I've been awake to ask a question in one of the Q&As. Recently I learned of Major General Sir Nils Ulf III, Baron of Bouvet Island, the third penguin. Oh, yeah. The third penguin mascot of the Norwegian Royal Guard, housed at Edinburgh Zoo. Yeah, he actually has the military... It's a penguin who actually has the military rank of Major General. Do you have any animal mascots aboard the ships that you served on, or at any of the bases? Any stories of the shenanigans they got up to? No, sadly. Never had any animals on any of the ships that I served, at least none that we knew about. What we did have, although not technically mascots, if you look at some of the old Palmerston forts, the defences built around Portsmouth, there's a lot of overgrown grass on the tops of the forts. And what they do, because getting a lawnmower up there would be an absolute bloody nightmare. Instead, they have sheep and goats that just live on top of these forts, and they eat the grass. And that's how they keep the grass down on the top of these forts, just by sticking some sheep and goats up there. So, very cost effective. Technically not really mascots, but that's the closest thing I've ever seen to it. I'm aware that there are certain regiments, in the British Army in particular, a lot of them have goat mascots, and some other weird and wonderful ones, but the penguin is probably, that you mentioned, is probably the best example. But unfortunately, no direct experience of anything like that during my time in the services. Next question comes from Dr. Fury von Scooper. Greetings, mightiest of gnome lords. Remembering your answer to my question about Axis and Allies a few weeks ago. Glad you remember. I'd forgotten. You said that board games. You said that the board games you play are more horror-based. Have you ever played Eldritch Horror? Nope. Have you played or heard of the game Dead of Winter? Nope. Sorry. I'll have to look them up. But no, I've never heard of those. Arkham Horror, yes. Eldritch Horror, no. Arkham Horror is great, but it takes an hour to set up, 6 hours to play, and an hour to pack everything away again. So you kind of need a whole day set aside to play it. City of Terror, or City of Horror, is a game that I need to get some people together to actually play it. What's the best way to put this? It's hilarious. If you look it up and watch people playing it on YouTube, it's absolutely hilarious. Because you get a bunch of survivors together in one spot, the zombies attack, and the zombies are going to eat somebody, and you basically decide which of the people who are at that particular location get thrown to the zombies so the rest can survive. It's that kind of game. It's absolutely hilarious. I'm itching to play it. I've got it, but I've never actually played it yet. But yeah, sorry, Dead of Winter or Eldritch Horror, never heard of either of them. I'm definitely going to have to look them up. Oh, and also he has some pictures of his cats. The black one has his gamer name, Fury Von Scooper. The tabby cat, her name is Minerva McGonagall. Oh, babies. Pictures of kitties. I'll have to stick these up now so you can all see these beautiful babies. We're going to have a cat picture overload in this week's episode. Because after the Q&A, the mods go in and they delete the questions. So I'm just going to save the pictures of these cats right now so I can actually stick them up when I come to turn this into Mingles with Jingles for Monday. Okay. Next one comes from Snazzy. He says, "Hi Jingles, finally managed to make it to one of these. Not really a question, but many moons ago, I promised to share with you my custom-made War Thunder tech tree of aircraft, which serves as an awesome encyclopedia. Oh, I remember this. Shared with you my American one, yep. But now I have a British one with aircraft from the Royal Air Force Fleet Air on them and more. I need some edits and pictures to update, but I'd love for you to check it out. And he's providing me with a link there. Yeah, I'll try to remember. Actually, no, I'm going to click it on it now. So I can have this open. There we go. So I don't forget to put this link in the video description. Also, a side note. Last time you hilariously misread my name as Spazzy, which resulted in the evil mods changing my server username to that for several months. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, next question comes from Yamato2. Almighty Overlord Jingles, have you ever seen a military or non-military movie or TV show that was just so inaccurate, so painstakingly dumb that it made you legitimately furious? Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it's probably easier to just name the ones that didn't make me mad, because they actually got it right. First one that leaps to mind is Black Hawk Down. I mean, it wasn't 100% accurate, but they took the effort to make it as accurate as humanly possible. I mean, the last one that I saw that drove me mad was the Ministry of Ungentleman. Oh, what was it? The one with Henry Cavill. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare or something like that. Not the Guy Ritchie movie. It was done and then some. I mean, for a start, the destroyer that intercepted them on the way to the target was, and it was CG, right? Here's the thing: they made a CG model of a warship, but it was a cruiser. I mean, as long as you're making it up, you can make up anything you like. I don't know what the hell went wrong. I think it's possible because it was basically the cruiser, and it was HMS Belfast, the ship in the movie. This destroyer that intercepted them was actually a town class cruiser, and I think, and I'm guessing here, I don't know for sure, but I suspect they just got the model from Wargaming for HMS Belfast out of World of Warships, because they could get that cheap, and they used that 3D model for the ship in the movie. Why didn't they get a 3D model of a destroyer? You know, if you're making stuff up, if you are literally creating something from scratch that doesn't exist in reality using CG, there's no excuse for getting it wrong. You know what I mean? But, and movies like The Battle of the Bulge. Great war movie. As a kid, thought it was amazing. Watched it later in life when I actually knew a few things. All of the German Panzers and Tigers are Shermans, and all of the American Shermans are Chaffees. I mean, I get it. You know, Germany was on the losing side. There weren't an awful lot of Tigers and Panzers that actually survived to be made into movies and stuff. But you watch all of these war movies, these 1960s, 1970s, and World War II movies, and almost every single time, like you watch Patton, for example, and all of the tanks, and here's the thing, you know, they actually had Shermans, but they didn't bother using them. All of the American tanks are M60 Pattons painted green, and all of the German tanks are M60 Pattons painted grey. And then, of course, you know, when they do actually have the actual military hardware, and yeah, I'm talking about Fury here, and they've got the tanks right, they make them do the dumbest shit imaginable. It drives me crazy. It honestly does. Like I said, it's probably easier to just list the movies and TV shows that actually take the time to get it right, with Black Hawk Down probably being one of the best examples. And also Heat, the Michael Mann movie. The bank robbery scene, when they get busted by the cops on the way out, and they basically have to fight their way out of this huge police roadblock. Small unit tactics, perfect. Absolutely spot on. The way that they do cover and manoeuvre, and they pepper pot, sorry, pepper pot's a British Army expression. You know, one guy firing, the other one reloading, and they're just bound. If you haven't seen it, you need to see the movie because it's an amazing movie. But just look up that one scene on YouTube because it's just astoundingly good. And then you look at other stuff where it's not difficult to get it right, but it's just so lazy. Laziness and stupidity. That's basically what it is. I'm going to go crazy talking about it. But yeah, so many things that I see in TV and movies that just make me go mad because unnecessarily stupid. Doesn't need to be. The minimum of effort required, and they just don't bother because Hollywood. Next one comes from Volker802. Hello, Mighty Jingles. Has there been any progress on your War Thunder account? Nope. Do you miss playing it? Nope. I am something of an MMO player, and MMOs are grindy by their very nature, but none of them can hold a candle to the sheer tedium of grind that was War Thunder. And this was like years ago when I was last able to play it. My account got locked. Don't know why. And despite multiple requests to customer support, they have never even replied, let alone made any progress whatsoever in unlocking my account. So, and this was years ago, and I just stopped giving a shit. So, no, there has been no progress on my War Thunder account, and I do not miss it. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Akazuki's crying for attention. She probably wants her butt scratched while she eats her food. She's funny like that, but she's just going to have to wait. Next question from Ion Kaisai, probably mispronouncing that, sorry. Greetings, Overlord Jingles. Would you ever consider making videos on the games you played when you were around our ages, as in from your 20s to 30s? Would love to see a commentary on a Red Storm Rising series, for example. What games was I playing? The kind of games that I was playing back in my 20s, I mean, they're old, obviously, because we're talking 30, 35 years ago, but they still hold up today. Games like The Secret of Monkey Island, Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, Flashback, Another World. Absolutely amazing games. Where the graphics, well, I mean, having said that, even something like Flashback and Another World, obviously, we're not talking Cyberpunk 2077 standards of graphics, but the animation in them, go back and watch them now, they're still amazing. And of course, adventure games like Monkey Island 2, they never get old because it's all about the wit and the humour and the comedy and the story and the puzzles, and those are timeless. So, I don't know, maybe. I certainly wouldn't have any objection. And the music in particular from those games, the Monkey Island games, the music was astonishingly good. Day of the Tentacle, oh god, yeah, Day of the Tentacle was so funny, and the puzzles in it were just so stupidly, I mean, they were complex, but logical. That was the thing about the LucasArts adventure games. They always made sense, and they would never punish you for making the wrong decisions, which was quite, they were like kind of like the World of Warcraft of the adventure game genre. World of Warcraft was the first MMO that didn't punish you for playing. It was the most user-friendly, which is why it was so successful. And the LucasArts graphic adventures were like that, because they, in other games, if you made the wrong decision, they'd just kill you and send you right back to the start. They punish you for making the wrong choices, or just for getting stuff wrong. But the LucasArts games, they remembered that they were supposed to be enjoyable. They're supposed to be games, you're supposed to enjoy playing them. So they would block your progress, but they would never punish you for making the wrong decision or getting something wrong. Utterly timeless game. We don't talk about Monkey Island 3, right? That one never happened. But the first two, and then games like Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango, oh man, such good games. I mean, I don't know if there's enough. It sounds like the sort of thing that I might do over Christmas, for example, rather than the regular stuff. A sort of one for me rather than one for you sort of thing. But yeah, not a bad suggestion. Thank you. Next question from Baran Akatsuki. Good morning, Jingles. Greetings from Eindhoven. I hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. I know it's still very early, but what are your expectations and thoughts on Cyberpunk 2? Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith revealed that the game will include a second city that will feel like Chicago gone wrong. Features such as the most realistic and reactive crowd system in any game to date, memorable combat encounters, and divergent experiences that cater to all available playstyles have been mentioned. Job listings suggest the game will include multiplayer systems, including matchmaking. Okay, so yes, they've announced that they've started work on Cyberpunk 2. What are my expectations? I know it's going to be good because it's CD Projekt Red. And as in the first game, they've gotten the original tabletop Cyberpunk pen and paper role-playing game creator, Mike Pondsmith, on board. So it's going to be faithful to the original, and it's going to be good. Whether or not it's going to be bug-free on launch, and whether or not it's going to include all of the systems that they're bragging about at this early stage, remains to be seen. So things like the most realistic and reactive crowd system in any game to date. I mean, that was promised in the original Cyberpunk. Didn't happen. Memorable combat encounters. I mean, what does that even mean? It doesn't. They're not saying anything there. Divergent experiences that cater to all available play styles. Well, they did that in the original Cyberpunk, and they've been doing that in games going all the way back to Deus Ex and System Shock. So again, nothing new here, but also nothing bad. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I know it's going to be good, but I'm not placing any great stock in shit that they're promising at this early stage, because it's very easy to say stuff like this 2 years ahead of the game coming out. But there was so much exactly like this that they were saying about the original Cyberpunk that never actually made it into the game. Even after 3 years of development and patches, still never made it into the game. So, yeah, it's going to be great. Of course it's going to be great. But I'm not listening to all of the claims that they're making at this point. I'm going to miss Night City, because Night City was one of the best things about Cyberpunk. The city itself was its own character. It was astonishingly good. But I also kind of like that they're making a new city for it. And they've got the opportunity there to try something a little different, a different type of city. I'm looking forward to see what they come up with. Next question from Super Snail. Greetings, Jingles. My question is this. What crazy German wonder weapon do you find the most interesting or amusing? Ooh. That's a good one. I mean, you got the V1, V2 bombers. It doesn't matter. What was that rifle they did that was designed to shoot around corners? It's a really dumbass looking, like STG-44 with a bent barrel and a mirror halfway down the barrel. Technically did work, but it would ruin the barrel after half a dozen shots. Yeah, that's probably it. I certainly don't find... That's certainly, maybe not the most interesting, but definitely the most amusing. I don't think amusing is... I mean, you look at something like the ME-162, ME-163, the Comet, the rocket-powered thing, that with, if you got a fuel leak in it, it would basically melt the pilot alive. Interesting, yes. Amusing, no. Same with the V1 and the V2. Nothing particularly amusing about either of those. But yeah, probably, I can't remember what it was called, but the Germans developed this rifle that was designed to shoot around corners, and it was just the biggest waste of time and money, because it worked for like the first 6 or 7 shots, and then it destroyed the barrel, and it was no good for anything other than shooting around a corner, because the barrel was bent. It was I don't know who the hell gave the green light to that one, but yeah. More money than sense, clearly. Next question from Make-A-Whoosh Foundation. Hey Jingles, our favourite professional cat butt scratcher. Hope you have a healthy and happy holiday season. What's on your wish list? Any nice gifts to give yourself after all sorts of the season for maxing out tax deductions? Alternate question, best and worst Christmas song. Okay, he's got his own suggestions. Last Christmas is his worst. Oh, the Wham one, yeah. Tied with the Little Drummer Boy, best. Fuck Christmas by Eric Idle. I think the best Christmas song ever was Fairy Tale of New York by Shane MacGowan of the Pogues. And, what was her name? She died of cancer not long after. It was just such a good song. It was such an honest song. Far too honest for radio. They'll never play it on radio anymore these days because of all the racial slurs and stuff in it. But such a good song. But anyway, the actual question. Any nice gifts? I actually got myself a... You're not going to believe this. An Advent whiskey... a whiskey Advent calendar. You know those advent calendars that you open up and there's a chocolate every day, the 25 days leading up to Christmas? I've got one of those, but it's whiskey. It's pretty good value for money as well. Of course, I ordered it and it was delivered by DPD, so it arrived 4 days late, so I had a bit of catching up to do. When it first arrived. But I get a shot of whiskey every day. And there's some really, really good stuff in there. It's from this company called That Boutique Whiskey Company, who specialise in sourcing unusual whiskies that you struggle to find anywhere else. One of them, for example, is from a distillery that's shut down in 1993. And there was a 28-year-old, not a single malt, a grain Scotch, grain whiskey. So they didn't use malted barley, they used grain. And that one 30 centilitre dram, I mean, that's £11 by itself. The bottle's over 100. So, yeah, some good stuff. That's basically how I've treated myself. Oh, and I got a new microwave oven. So, yay. That's how I've treated myself this Christmas. My whiskey advent calendar and a new microwave oven. I'll tell you what, because the old microwave oven that it replaced, I must have had for about 10 years. And it was a 900 watt, 10-year-old, and it still works just fine. Although it's getting a bit, you know, the finishings are peeling off because it's 10 years old. So I thought I'll replace it. So I got a new one for less than £100, and it's the same power. It's a 900 watt microwave, and it's half the weight of the old one that I was throwing out. It's like the magnetron in the old one came from World War II or something. It was just I can't remember the last time I picked this thing up. It was probably when I got it out of the box and I put it in the kitchen the first time around. And it weighed a ton. Struggled to take it out of the bins and get rid of it. It was an utter nightmare. The new one weighs basically nothing, but with exactly the same power output. So, yeah, I don't actually regret changing it. I know, but you get to my age and you actually get excited about things like home appliances and kitchen stuff and so on and so on. I used to get excited about new games coming out. That ship sailed like 30 years ago. Although you can probably blame the AAA gaming industry for that. Like I was saying in previous videos, I can't remember. I can remember. The last time I got excited about a AAA, technically a AAA, not actually a AAA, game coming out was Cyberpunk 2077. Since then, I've really struggled to give a shit about any whatsoever AAA games. I get excited about indie releases. You were asking what's on my wish list. Let me have a quick look on my Steam wish list, and all the stuff that's on there, not one of them is from a AAA publisher. So I've wish listed Into the Dead. I'm waiting for that to come. I mean, it's in early access at the moment. Its release date is 9th of April. Oh, wait, no, that was when it went into early access. Its actual release date is some point next year, 2026. Subnautica 2, again, some point next year. The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. This is from Owlcat Games, the guys that did Warhammer 40k, Rogue Trader, and other games like that. Sort of Baldur's Gate 3 style RPGs. They're doing an Expanse game, which cannot fail to be anything other than awesome, because it's Owlcat Studios. And this other one called Lice Ward, which is sort of like Subnautica, but in a desert, where you're on a planet that's tidally locked, and the sunlight is so hot, standing out in the open for longer than like 30 seconds will kill you. So it's kind of like that. That's currently in a playtest at the moment and looks really interesting. And that's it. All of these are, I mean, Subnautica 2 isn't an indie game anymore. It's been bought by this massive Korean publisher for several hundred million. But, you know, that's the sort of thing that's on my wish list. Those are the only things that I really give a shit about. I've stopped caring about the AAA games market so long ago. Like, have you seen Bethesda, their latest? There was the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition that they managed to fuck up beyond all recognition. And then they did... oh, God, now I've got Nino crying on the stairs. He's been taking bad examples from Akazuki. He'll be all right. They did a Fallout 76 TV show tie-in for Fallout 76. They managed to fuck that one up as well. I mean, at this point, does anybody expect anything else from Bethesda other than one fuck-up after another? Because that seems to be the only thing that they're capable of pushing out. Microsoft spent billions acquiring them, and they've done nothing but break things ever since. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm preaching to the choir here, I realise. Moving on to the next question. Also, how are we doing for time? Half an hour in, let's see. Next one from David L. Daces. Greetings from Singapore. Wow. You ever heard of Air Defender? I have not. It's an indie early access game on Steam about being a Royal Air Force radar identification officer. Looks very authentic and perfect for a quick holiday break. Look, that does sound interesting. Let me just do a quick head over to Steam Store and do a search. Let's do this live. Air Defender, there it is. £20, early access. 111 reviews, mostly positive. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation. I might have to give that one a look. Also, anybody who's listening to this as Monday's Mingles with Jingles, yeah, check it out on Steam. Air Defender, easy enough to search for. Early access, 20 quid. Doesn't look too bad. Obviously, that's not a preview or a review or anything, just based on what I can see from its Steam page. Next question comes from Napalm Party. Hey, mightiest of Jingles. First, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? The age-old question. You see, the question itself is wrong. It's not how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. It's should a woodchuck chuck wood even if a woodchuck could chuck wood, because chucking wood is not necessarily what a woodchuck should. Secondly, are we going to have more content similar to the Why You Have to Be Mad series? Never say never. The thing is, you have to understand, one 10-minute long Why You Have to Be Mad video takes longer to do, is more work than every other video I do that week combined. Anybody else who does that kind of compilation video knows what I'm talking about. Hours upon hours upon hours of footage just to get those funny moments. The effort that is required to produce one of those is gargantuan. So I'm not going to say no, never, but I wouldn't hold your breath waiting for one. Let me just put it that way. Sorry. Next question from Aurorix78. Is there any situation where you would play some tanks? Probably not, no. Hello, Auroric, by the way. I'm sure this guy needs no introduction. Light tank player extraordinaire. He's some of the World of Tanks stuff that he's done has just been the best content on my channel. I remain forever in his debt for being as awesome as he is. But, here's the thing. I'm just not that good at tanks. You wouldn't want to see me play because it'd be boring as shit. If you want to see people play tanks badly, just play the game yourselves. If I want to drive people away from my channel, I'll put my own gameplay up. So, no, I can't see any foreseeable situation in which I would actually play World of Tanks. I haven't played the game in probably about 8 or 9 years. You can probably tell when you watch my World of Tanks video. But, yeah, short answer to that one, no chance. Next question from Falcon100. Have you played Return to Monkey Island? I played it after doing the Sea of Thieves Telltale, and I'm enjoying it. Return to Monkey Island? I'm going to have to Google this. Was that Monkey Island 3? Hang on a second, let me flash up and type in Return to Monkey Island. 2022 point-and-click adventure game developed by Terrible Toy Box and published by Devolver Digital. The 6th installment in the Monkey Island... No, I haven't played that, no. I played the first 2 because they're amazing and everybody should have played them at some point. Actually, you know what? This might be worth a go, because I've just looked at its ratings. 9 out of 10 on Steam, and alright, IGN, I know nobody pays attention to IGN, but still, 9 out of 10 on IGN. This might be worth a look. Like I said, I played the first 2 because they were amazing, and everybody who plays computer games should play them, because they're computer game history and they're still amazing even today. The third one was a bit of a disappointment because it was never going to be as good as the first two. I didn't realise they'd made a fourth, a fifth, and now a sixth as well. I might have to give this a go. If it's been rated that highly, thank you for the heads up. I will check that out. Thank you. And I think we're going to go for one more question, and then I'm going to knock this one on the head. So that means Gravity Falls 618. You are the last question. This is, good morning, Jingles. Hope you're well. What is one kind of food you had overseas while you were in service that you enjoyed the most and why? Chicken curry. I know it sounds really boring, but I was the fussiest. I was the typical Englishman when it came to food. I was the kind of guy that would go around the world. I'd be in the mountains of Afghanistan asking for bacon, egg and chips. Right? I was the most unadventurous eater and the fussiest eater. Right? I just wouldn't touch food if it had certain things in it, like tomatoes. Nope, don't want any of that. Onions, I kind of still like that with onions, but yeah, I was the worst. I was the stereotypical Englishman abroad when it came to food. I wouldn't touch anything that wasn't British and, you know, cheap rubbish. And then I joined the Navy, and my options got a lot more limited. And on my very, very first deployment, so this would have been 1991, we were in Jebel Ali in the United Arab Emirates, which was very, very different back then. You go to like Dubai now, and it's a playboy billionaire's paradise. Back then, completely different. This was before they started building all of the big shit and so on. Jebel Ali these days is a luxury resort. In those days it was an industrial port full of shipping containers. But the one thing that they did have was a seaman's mission. So I'm there on HMS Brazen, my first ship. I flew out there to join it right before the first Gulf War, and right on the jetty, just over the gangway from the ship, was a seaman's mission where they look the other way and sold, because it's an Arabic country, so you know they're not supposed to do alcohol, but the port was an international area, so you could get a beer and some food at the seaman's mission while you were waiting for the buses and taxis to take you actually into Dubai itself. And the only thing they sold was chicken curry and chips. And I had never had a curry in my life, because stereotypical Englishman abroad, I'm not eating that foreign muck. Where's my bacon, egg and chips? Because that's what I was like. But this was all they had, and I was starving. So I ordered this chicken curry, and it is the best thing I have ever tasted in my life to this day. I'm probably looking back on it through rose-tinted spectacles and all that, because it was the very first curry I ever had, and it was the hottest thing I had ever eaten. It probably wasn't even that hot, but I had such a mild palate back then that it tasted like dynamite. But it was an eye-opener. I suddenly, thanks to that chicken curry, that opened my eyes to foreign cuisine, and I haven't looked back since. And it always, anytime anybody asks me that question, that one chicken curry at the Jebel Ali Seaman's Mission in 1990 always is the first thing that comes to mind, because it tasted amazing, and I'll never forget it. And on that bombshell, I think that's going to be it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles and this month's Salt Mine Discord Q&A. Thank you to everybody who turned up in person and posted their questions. My apologies to anybody whose question didn't get answered, but there's only so much time in the day, I'm afraid. And I hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.